Before the world called her lucky, before they admired her, before they wished they were her. She was invisible. In a place where names mattered, where families gave you identity, she had none. Her name was Amara. No mother to call her in at night, no father to defend her name. Just silence. And whispers that followed her everywhere. That girl, something is wrong with her, stay away. In a world where love was given freely, she had to survive without it. Every day was a battle. Not for dreams, but for survival. The world moved fast around her, but for Amara, she didn't exist. And at night, when the noise faded, she asked a question. God, do you see me? But what if the girl no one saw was the one destiny was watching? When the world finally noticed her, it was to break her. And just when she had nothing left, when hope had almost died, something unexpected happened. A stranger who looked at her like she mattered. But here's the truth no one knew. The orphan they rejected would become the woman they could never ignore. And the man who saved her was hiding a secret that would change everything. Because years ago, in a moment she forgot, she saved his life. Who was the one person who helped him? And what secret was about to change everything? Watch till the end, because this story will change how you see kindness forever. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more powerful African stories. The entire house stood still. No movement, no whispers, no breath loud enough to be heard. Chinedu held the microphone firmly, but his eyes were no longer on the crowd. They rested on one person, Amara. She felt it immediately. That gaze, heavy, intentional, unavoidable. Her heart began to pound. Slow at first, then faster, because deep inside, she knew something was coming. Rows of wealthy guests, important figures, proud faces, and among them, the villagers. The same people who once laughed at her, mocked her, rejected her, now seated in fine chairs, watching a moment they could not control. The one person who helped me, his voice was calm, measured, but it carried weight. The kind that made people listen, even when they didn't want to. A pause followed, long enough to make the air feel tight. Someone in the crowd whispered, "Just say it," another leaned forward. Because curiosity had taken over, her fingers tightened slightly around her dress. Her throat felt dry. Quote, "Why is he looking at me like that?" She thought, her mind raced, searching, trying to understand something that didn't yet make sense, is standing right here. A ripple moved through the hall. Heads turned, eyes scanned the room. People shifted in their seats. Where? Who is it? Is it someone important? Confusion spread like fire. Then, Chinedu spoke again. Slower this time, clearer, unavoidable. Her name. He paused. The silence became unbearable. Even the air felt like it had stopped moving. Is Amara. Gasps exploded across the hall. What? Amara? That girl. People stood up, some covered their mouths, others shook their heads in disbelief. Their faces changed instantly. Shock, fear, confusion. Madame Ifunanya's eyes widened. Her lips parted slightly. No, no, that's not possible. Her voice trembled. Because deep inside, she remembered. Everything around her faded. The noise, the voices, the crowd. All she could hear was her heartbeat. Amara, her own name echoed in her mind. She looked at Chinedu, slowly, carefully. Me, she whispered. Her voice barely existed, because nothing about this moment felt real. Yes, you. The weight of those words crashed into her. Memories flickered faintly in her mind. Blurry, distant, a boy, hungry, lost, but it wasn't clear yet. How can it be her? She's just an orphan. There must be a mistake. But Chinedu raised his hand. Silence returned instantly, because power commands attention. He stepped forward, closer to Amara, each step slow, intentional. The entire hall watched, breath held, eyes fixed. He stopped just a few steps away from her. Then said softly, "You may not remember." A pause. "But I never forgot." Amara's chest tightened, because something inside her shifted. A feeling, deep, unexplainable, trying to remember, trying to understand, but not there yet. The moment stretched, heavy, powerful, because the truth was standing right in front of her. But she hadn't fully seen it yet. Sometimes, the greatest moments of your life begin with a truth you don't even remember. The present slowly disappeared. The voices, the wedding, the crowd, all faded into silence. And then, the past began to speak. The sun was harsh that day. Dry wind blew through the village of Omokwe. Dust rose with every step taken on the narrow paths. A small boy walked alone. Barefoot, weak, his clothes were torn, his lips dry, his steps unsteady. He looked around, houses, people, life moving normally, but no one noticed him. Or maybe, they chose not to. He stopped in front of a compound, knocked gently on the wooden door. "Please," he said softly. "I'm hungry." The door opened slightly. A woman looked at him. Her eyes scanned him quickly. Then, she shut the door. No words, no sympathy. The boy stood there, silent. He didn't knock again, because he already understood. "Go away," a man shouted. "We are not running a charity." Laughter followed. The boy stepped back slowly. His stomach growled, loud this time. He placed his hand over it, as if trying to quiet the hunger. He kept walking, from one house to another. Same result, same rejection. "Leave here. Don't bring bad luck. Where are your parents?" Each word pushed him further into silence. The sun burned harder. The ground felt hotter. His strength began to fade. Finally, he reached the edge of the village. A quiet place, almost forgotten. He sat down under a small tree. His breathing was slow, heavy, his eyes closed halfway, because he had nothing left. No strength, no hope, no one. Then, a small voice. "Hey," soft, careful. The boy didn't respond immediately. He thought it was his imagination. Then again, "Are you okay?" He slowly opened his eyes. Standing in front of him was a little girl. Her clothes were simple, worn, but her eyes, kind. It was Amara, younger, smaller, but already carrying the weight of the world. She looked at him, not with fear, not with judgment, but with something rare, concern. "You look hungry," she said gently. The boy tried to speak, but no words came out. Only silence. Amara hesitated for a moment. Then she reached behind her, pulled out a small bowl. Inside, a little food. Not much, just enough for one person. This was her food, her only meal. She looked at it, then at him. A quiet battle, because she was hungry too. Very hungry. Then, she made a choice. She stepped forward and held it out to him. You can have it. The boy stared at her, confused, surprised. But, what about you? He managed to ask. Amara smiled slightly, weak, but real. I'll be fine. He took the bowl slowly, hands trembling. As he ate, tears formed in his eyes. Not just from hunger, but from something deeper. Because for the first time that day, someone saw him. Amara sat beside him quietly, not asking questions, not expecting anything, just present. After a while, the boy looked at her again. Why did you help me? Amara shrugged slightly. Because you needed it. Simple. Pure. No conditions. No expectations. The boy nodded slowly, as if making a silent promise. Back to the wedding. Amara stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. Her lips trembled. I remember. Her voice broke. I remember now. Chinedu watched her quietly. Because for him, that moment had never faded. She gave a small meal and forgot it. But for him, it became the moment that changed his life forever. The memory ended, but its impact never did. Back at the wedding, all eyes were on Chinedu. Not as a groom now, but as a man with a story. He stood still for a moment. Then slowly, he began again. After that day, his voice softened. I didn't forget her. The boy walked away from the village, stronger than before, but still alone. The hunger was gone, but life was still hard. Days passed, then weeks. He slept wherever he could. Under broken shelters, behind abandoned shops, sometimes under the open sky. But something had changed. Inside him, a fire had been lit. Not anger, not bitterness, determination. He found small jobs, carrying loads, cleaning compounds, running errands. People still looked down on him, still spoke harshly. But this time, he didn't break. Because every time he felt weak, he remembered her. A small girl, with nothing, who still gave something. Time moved. The boy grew older, taller, stronger. His name, Chinedu. He worked harder than others, stayed longer, learned faster. One day, a shop owner noticed. You, come here, the man said. Chinedu stepped forward. Careful, you're different, the man added. You don't complain. Chinedu said nothing. I'll give you a chance, the man said. Don't waste it. That moment changed everything. He started working at the shop, learning business, watching closely how money moved, how people negotiated, how decisions were made. He asked questions, quietly, respectfully, and slowly, he grew. Years passed. Chinedu saved every coin, every opportunity. He fell sometimes, lost money, made mistakes, but he never stopped, because his reason was bigger than failure. He looked up at the sky, just like Amara used to, and whispered, one day, I will find her. The small shop turned into something bigger, then a business. People who once ignored him, now respected him. Those who once shouted at him, now greeted him politely. But Chinedu never forgot. Not the hunger, Not the pain, not her. The crowd listened in silence, completely drawn in, because this wasn't just success. It was transformation. Chinedu looked around the hall. Everything I have today started with one act of kindness. His eyes returned to Amara. One moment, I could have died. A deep silence followed, but she didn't let that happen. She shook her head slightly. I didn't know, she whispered. Chinedu stepped closer. You didn't need to know. That's what made it real. Some people change your life without even trying. And sometimes, those are the people destiny brings back to you. The air felt heavier now, not with celebration, but with truth. Amara stood still, tears still fresh on her cheeks. Her heart, no longer just emotional, but searching, because something still didn't make sense. She looked at Chinedu, really looked at him this time. If you remember me all these years, her voice trembled slightly. Then why? Why didn't you tell me from the beginning? The question hung in the air. Sharp, unavoidable. The crowd leaned in again. Because this was no longer just a love story. It was a taste of truth. He inhaled slowly, as if preparing to say something difficult. Because he stopped, not because he didn't know what to say, but because the truth had weight. Quote, because I wasn't sure. A ripple of confusion moved through the hall. Amara frowned. Not sure of what? Chinedu stepped closer. Not sure if the kindness I saw back then, his voice softened, was who you truly are, or just a moment. The words landed, heavy. Amara's expression changed instantly. Hot, clear, undeniable. So you doubted me. Her voice wasn't loud, but it cut deeper than shouting ever could. He tested her, after everything. Is that fair? Chinedu didn't look away. I needed to know. Amara took a small step back. Her chest rose and fell slowly. So bringing me into your house, her voice shook now. Watching me, helping me, a tear slipped down, was all a test. For the first time, Chinedu hesitated, because the answer was not simple. At first, he paused. Yes. A soft gasp moved through the crowd. Amara closed her eyes briefly, as if absorbing the pain. Because this hurt more than the market, more than the insults. Because this time, it came from someone she trusted. Chinedu continued quickly, but it didn't stay that way. Amara opened her eyes again. Then what did it become? He stepped even closer now. His voice lower, more honest. It became real. Every moment, every conversation, every time you smiled, even when you were still afraid, that wasn't a test anymore. His eyes softened. That was me, falling in love with you. The hall went silent again. Because now, this was no longer about the past. It was about the present. Amara's lips trembled slightly. Her heart pulled in two directions. Pain and truth. But you still lied, she said softly. You knew me, and I didn't know you. Chinedu lowered his head slightly. Not in defeat, in acceptance. Yes, no excuses, no defense, just truth. Amara turned slightly away, her mind racing, because love should feel safe. But right now, it felt complicated. Then quietly, she spoke again. Do you know what it feels like to finally trust someone? Her voice cracked, and then find out they were watching you all along. The words hit hard. Even the crowd felt it. Chinedu stepped forward quickly. I wasn't watching to judge you. I was watching, to believe in you again. A deep silence followed, because that line carried truth and pain. Amara slowly turned back to face him, her eyes filled with tears again. But this time, not just from hurt, from understanding, because deep inside, she knew something. He didn't just remember her. He held on to her for years. Sometimes, the people who love you don't always do it perfectly. But even imperfect love can still be real. They all stood still. No one spoke. No one moved. Because this moment was no longer about wealth, no longer about status. It was about truth and what comes after it. Amara stood facing Chinedu, tears resting on her cheeks, her eyes searching his face, not for answers anymore, but for meaning. Her heart was heavy, not with confusion, with decision. She took a step back. The movement was small, but it shook the room. Because everyone felt it, she could walk away. And no one would blame her. Chineni didn't move, didn't speak. For the first time since this began, he waited. Not as a man in control, but as a man about to lose something real. Amara inhaled slowly, her hands trembling slightly. Then she spoke. All my life, her voice was soft, but steady. People decided who I was. She looked around the hall, at the villagers, at the faces from her past. They called me nothing. They treated me like I didn't matter. Her voice deepened slightly, and I believed them, for a long time. Then she turned back to Chinedu. Until you came. Quote. You showed me something different. You gave me a place, a voice, a life I never imagined. Chinedu's eyes softened, because every word meant something. But then, her expression shifted. Slightly, but you also made a choice, her voice dropped. To hide the truth from me. Silence returned, because both things were true. Amara's eyes filled again. And now, I have to make a choice too. The air tightened. People leaned forward unconsciously. Because this was it. She looked at him one last time. Not as the man who saved her, but as the man who tested her. Then she spoke. Love is not just about what you feel. Her voice softened. It's about what you do with the truth. The words landed deeply. Chinedu swallowed slightly, because now, he had no control over what came next. Amara stepped forward, slowly, deliberately. She stopped right in front of him, close enough to see every emotion in his eyes. Then, she reached out her hand. A gasp moved through the crowd. Chinedu looked at her hand, then at her face, uncertain, because this could mean everything or nothing. I didn't help you because I knew who you would become, Amara said softly. I helped you because it was right. Her fingers trembled slightly, and today, I will choose the same thing again. Chinedu's eyes filled with emotion. Not because everything is perfect, but because I believe what we have now is real. Silence broke, not loudly, but deeply. Chinedu slowly took her hand. This time, not as a man testing, but as a man trusting. The tension in the room dissolved. Some guests wiped their eyes. Others exhaled deeply. Even those who once mocked her could not deny what they were witnessing. Madame Ifnanya lowered her head slightly. Not in shame alone, but in realization. Because the girl she once humiliated had become a woman of strength. Chinedu held Amara's hand firmly. Not tightly, gently. Then quietly, he said, no more tests. Amara nodded. No more secrets. And just like that, the foundation of their love changed. From doubt to truth. She was once the girl no one chose, but in the end, she chose herself. And in doing so, she chose love the right way. Some people will meet you when you have nothing and walk away. Others will meet you when you rise and pretend they always believed in you. But the ones who truly matter are the ones who grow with you, even through truth, pain, and change. Life did not ask where she came from. It revealed who she truly was. A girl with nothing, who still chose kindness. And a man who had everything, but never forgot the one who helped him when he had nothing. The same people who ignored her became witnesses to her rising. Not because she fought them, not because she proved them wrong, but because she stayed true to who she was. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness becomes the greatest turning point of a life. So the next time you see someone with nothing, remember this story, because the person you ignore today might be the one destiny is lifting tomorrow. And when that moment comes, will you be remembered for your kindness or your silence? If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe for more powerful African stories that remind us what truly matters.